This is an act of war! Ah! Ah! Ah!
Iran is begging for a spanking. Welcome aboard. So, Jeremy, there's this new story out about Iran. We both really are just finding out about this story. We're just looking at these articles. Iran has now threatened the United States. Let's take a look. Here we go. Iran warns of severe response in wake of Trump's new strike threats. The U.S. president said he would back attacks if Tehran rebuilds nuclear or missile programs. Just a couple months ago, we took out some nuclear sites, refineries. What do we call it? Where they actually have this enrichment facilities. Thank you, enrichment facilities. Iran also not long ago got their butt kicked by Israel and the Israeli Air Forces.
Yeah.
And really gave no defense, no fight to the IAF. But let's check out this article. This came out today, December 30th. Well, that's when we're recording this. Iran has promised to respond harshly to any aggression after the United States President Donald Trump threatened further military action should Tehran attempt to rebuild its nuclear program or missile capabilities. Well, what do you think? If Iran brings back these enrichment facilities, what do you think we should do?
Bomb them, I would say back, but I guess continuing into the Stone Age.
There you go.
For people that don't know, it was a very modern time.
Oh, yeah. You look at pictures of Iran.
And I'm not going to color it. Just go Google it. Go look.
It looks like downtown Hollywood in the 60s.
Yeah.
Women were wearing the exact same fashions.
Yeah.
In
modern colleges, women were allowed to go to university there. I mean,
women were treated as human beings.
Yes.
And I mean, you can complain about the Shah all you want. Women weren't subhuman. They weren't half of a man.
And like reading literacy was high. I don't remember. My mom rattled off a number, but reading literacy was high for that area. And now almost everyone's illiterate in that area. It's interesting how far it went in just 60 years. That's one lifespan. That's one person.
Oh, yeah.
There has to be people alive that remember what it was like.
I remember when the Shah fell and the Ayatollah Khomeini came into power, and I knew this was going to be bad for the people for a long, long time. But now they're saying, I mean, I listened to some people online, like Dr. David Wood, and he's finding out that a lot of people in Iran are apostates. They're leaving Islam just secretly, because that would be an unalive penalty if you leave.
Okay, I get what you're talking about.
Yeah, but Iran is ripe right now for a complete coup and overthrow of the government. And the Shah in exile, the old Shah's son or grandson, is ready to take over. All right, President Massoud, I can't even say that last name, issued the warning on X on Tuesday, a day after Trump met Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, at his Florida estate, where he firmly leaned into the Israeli regional narrative yet again. The U.S. has not previously said it would target Iran's missile capabilities, which has long been an Israeli aspiration, focusing instead on Tehran's nuclear program. Well, here's some of the problem for Iran. What resource do you need to use a lot of when you're enriching uranium?
I'm pretty sure it's water.
It is water. And why don't you go repeat? Because we had a show not long ago.
No, they are absolutely out of water. And to be honest, they can't really justify why they're completely out of water.
Well, they diverted a bunch of dams. They've done a lot of things. They did one dam where they rerouted the water, and everybody's saying, everybody told them, all the engineers said, "Hey, wait a second," and the environmentalists, "You're putting this water into an area that has a lot of salt content
Yep.
in the dirt. You're just going to turn the fresh water into salt water." And the leaders said, "Nah, no, 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 no." And when they diverted the water and dammed it up, man, that salt mixes with water and turned it back into salt
No
water. You
way.
can't use it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Science.
Well, come on. Obviously, at this point, wouldn't we say it was just the will of Allah for them to not have fresh water?
And being respectful to the leading religion of Iran, yes, this is Allah's will. So here's my question for you. Clearly, the United States could take out Iran. How do you think they could retaliate? Like, what do you think they have?
Did they have big enough slingshots?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work.
Did they have the Acme catalog? Well, I don't know. They might have a coyote. I don't know what animals Iran has.
That is a good question. Maybe they
I don't
do have a
think-
coyote.
You know,
But what always happens to the coyote?
well, if they've
the
got the
Roadrunner
Acme
knocks 'em off.
catalog, there you go.
And all I have to say is, if Iran tries to use a coyote and Acme slingshots to get to the United States, we only have one response to them.
Beep beep.
Beat me to it.
Sometimes we're just horrible dad jokes.
Oh,
We are. No, I mean, really, realistically, I mean, I can appreciate Iran's statement that, listen, they have to put up some bravado. They have to put up this stuff. I get it.
yeah.
You can't just lay down and go, no, they're right. They can beat us. You know,
Yeah, but
I get that. But at the same time, it's like, why do we even talk about it? Just push a button and move on.
Well, here's the thing. I actually looked this up while you were in the other room. Iran's Air Force, because without an Air Force...
Oh, yes. I made the statement that I didn't think they even had an Air Force.
Yeah, so I looked it up. Here we go. They have a fleet of 400 aircraft total with about 150 to 230 combat fighters, mostly pre-1979 U.S. models. Let me do some quick math.
Hold on. Is that a Hornet?
That's no, I'm trying to do the math. That is basically
56 years away.
56 years
but
old technology.
Is that a Hornet?
They have Tomcats,
Okay.
F4 Phantoms, F5 Tigers, plus limited MiG-29s and Chinese
those are
type.
the Russian ones. Okay. Chinese type MiG-29s.
Made out of Legos, I guess. Many are 40 to 50 years old with low operational readiness.
Oh, yeah.
Proved ineffective in June 2025, Iran-Israeli war. In essence, Israel flew right on into Iran. I don't think a single Iranian plane made it off the ground. And if it did, it couldn't have been more than a handful. I mean, Israel just walked in. And if Israel can walk in, you darn well know the United States could walk in. And we've got stealth bombers. We took out those nuclear enrichment plants, and Iran didn't even know what hit them.
What was the B-2 bomber? I think
it was a B-2.
And he said, we're not going to send them. I heard this comment today. I thought it was great.
Who said?
Trump did.
Okay.
And he said something like, it's a 37-hour flight round trip. He said, that's a lot of fuel to spend for nothing. So we'll wait and see what they've got, and then we'll go.
Looking at this modernization, slow progress with some Russian Su-35 MiG-29s and possible Chinese J-10C deals in the pipeline, plus domestic upgrades and new trainers, but deliveries are delayed and scale remains limited.
That's what people don't realize. You can't just buy these planes.
It takes time.
You've got to put them... Well, but even if the planes were ready, even if they showed up on your runway the minute you swiped your credit card, you can't put guys in to fly them. They have to have thousands of hours in trainers, or else literally as soon as they make a bank turn, they can crash the plane. I didn't realize all this. I didn't even know this until somebody I know whose relative runs the simulation machines for I think it's the Navy. And it's like, they need thousands of hours in these trainers before they can even begin to get them into a cockpit
So
and
what-
be able to not crash the plane.
So what you're saying is actual planes are much more complicated than Microsoft
Oh, yeah.
Flight Simulator.
Yeah,
they're
no,
much more complicated.
I had no idea. I assumed a pilot was a pilot. You just teach them where to, it's kind of like driving a car. If you can drive a car and you have a little bit of intelligence, you can drive a semi.
Oh, okay,
And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
but I just assumed it was kind of like that. If you have a pilot, you have a pilot.
Oh,
but
no.
apparently not.
No.
Apparently, if you want to change from one plane to the next, it takes hundreds of hours. And if you want to go from like something fairly old to something really modern, it takes thousands of hours in simulator
Oh, yeah.
to be proficient in a battle scenario.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I would, my guess is just a guess. I would guess it takes probably 2 years, maybe 3 years to get a brand new pilot to be flight ready. That's just my guess.
I would
I'm
think
just
so.
guessing.
The only thing I just know that he said it can take up to 1,000 hours to get a pilot ready for some of these new planes.
And that's just in the simulators. I mean,
Yeah,
there
yeah,
is a lot
absolutely,
of
yeah.
training on the ground, manuals, things like that.
Yeah.
All right, I actually pulled this up. These are some ways that Iran could retaliate. First one, surprise, surprise, proxy attacks via allied militias. In other words, terrorists.
Send somebody else.
Send somebody else, terrorists. Here's the problem with this. They're going to spend money on terrorism against the United States when they've literally run out of water and you've got a population ripe to do a coup and overthrow the Iranian government. This is probably more realistic. Cyber operations. Iran has developed sophisticated cyber capabilities and could launch attacks on U.S. critical infrastructure, government systems, or private sectors. This might involve disrupting financial networks, energy grids, or transportation, as seen in previous alleged Iranian hacks on U.S. targets. Cyber retaliation is low risk for Iran, avoiding direct kinetic escalation while potentially causing economic damage. What do you think of that? Because you know a bit more about that than I do.
To be honest, the problem is they're absolutely right. Anybody with a good network connection and knowledge, you can go anywhere in the world for hire. You could be in Zimbabwe tomorrow. You could be in the US the next day. You could be in Russia the next day. It's literally a land for hire. So it's possible. I feel that the cyber operations have to tie back up into the terrorist side of it.
Yeah.
And so I really do believe that the cyber attacks, they're a one-hit wonder in more ways than one.
And it can happen back to Tehran right at a critical moment where they're evacuating or they're going to have to evacuate their capital city and do something with these people.
Yeah.
All right, disruption of global energy supplies. As a major oil producer, Iran could threaten or attempt to close the Strait of Hormuz, through which about 20% of global oil passes. That this is absolutely true. We usually have a carrier group in that area ready to deal with this at a moment's notice.
Iran could authorize operations against the U.S. officials, diplomats, or assets abroad through its intelligence networks and proxies.
The problem I can see with this option, though, they're ripe for an overthrow of the government, especially what's going on with water. People are ready to overthrow the government in Iran. And if you turn around and throw a punch at the United States and we beat Tehran down, at a certain point, I think that will be a linchpin for the Iranian people just to go and get rid of the government, get rid of the Ayatollahs, get rid of certain buildings there that I can't mention because you're not allowed to say that. And I think it would be a complete overthrow of what's been going on in Iran for the last God knows how many years.
And with that, I think we'll see you at the next stop.